Athens, the city of marble and myths, saw itself as the center of the civilized world. It was a place of dazzling art, revolutionary democracy, and profound arrogance. In its bustling agora, marketplace, men known as sophists, wise men for hire, charged fortunes to teach the sons of the rich how to win any argument, how to make the weak idea seem strong and the strong idea seem weak. Amidst this noise, there was another man. He was not rich. He was not handsome. In fact, he was famously ugly. He wore the same simple robe every day and walked barefoot on the hot, dusty stones. His name was Socrates. He was not a sophist. He did not charge money, and he claimed to teach nothing. He had only one tool, but it was sharper than any sword: the question. He was the gadfly of Athens, the stinging fly sent, as he said, by the gods to wake up a lazy horse. He would stop the most celebrated general in the street. "General," he'd ask gently, "you are known for your courage. Tell me, what is courage?" The general would laugh. "Courage is standing your ground." "And what if standing your ground is foolish, and a wise retreat saves the army?" Socrates would press. "Is that cowardice, or a different kind of courage?" He would stop a politician boasting of justice. "Tell me," he'd ask, "what is justice?" "Justice is giving every man what he is owed. And if you owe a madman his sword back, is it just to return it to him?" He was the midwife of the mind. He didn't put ideas in, he helped you give birth to the ones already inside you. He would question and probe and peel back the layers of comfortable answers until you were left empty, numb, confused, and, for the first time, ready to think. This act, making people think, was the most revolutionary and the most dangerous act in all of Athens. The powerful men he exposed did not thank him for their enlightenment. They hated him for their humiliation. The politicians he tied in logical knots, the poets whose wisdom he proved hollow, the rich men whose authority he undermined, they began to whisper, "This man is a menace. He is poisoning our youth, turning them against their traditions. He doesn't even believe in the city's gods." The whispers grew into a formal accusation. Anytus, a powerful politician whose son now preferred Socrates' questions to his father's business, led the charge. They dragged the 70-year-old philosopher to court. The charge: corrupting the youth and impiety. The trial was a spectacle. 500 citizens gathered as the jury. Socrates could have saved himself. His friends begged him to just apologize, Socrates. Flatter them. Bring your wife and children to beg for pity. He refused. He stood before them, not as a defendant, but as a teacher. His defense, his apology, was not an apology at all. It was a defiant, final lesson. He cross-examined his accusers, proving their charges were based on personal anger, not fact. He told them he was not a corrupter. He was a gift from the gods to wake them from their mental slumber. "And now," he said, "you must decide my fate. If you vote to kill me, you will harm yourselves more than you harm me. For you will be silencing the very voice that urges you to live a virtuous life. And I must tell you, the unexamined life is not worth living." He was found guilty. The accusers demanded the penalty of death. The custom allowed Socrates to propose a counter-penalty. This was his last chance. His friends urged him, "Say exile. They will accept." Socrates stood up again. What did he deserve for spending his entire life as Athens's gadfly, ignoring his own affairs to make the city better? "My penalty," he declared, "should be free meals for life in the Prytaneum, the sacred hall reserved for Olympic heroes." The jury was enraged. This was the ultimate insult. They had convicted him, and he was asking for a reward? Their final vote was swift. The sentence was death. He was held in a state prison for 30 days. His friends visited him, their hearts shattered. His oldest, wealthiest friend, Crito, came before dawn one morning. "Socrates," Crito pleaded, his voice thick with tears, "the guard is bribed. The boat is waiting. You must escape. Think of your children. Think of what people will say of us, that we let you die." Socrates looked at his old friend with gentle eyes. And he began to do what he had always done. He began to question. Crito, he said, should we listen to the opinion of the many, or the opinion of the few who know what is right? The few, of course. And if I escape, Socrates continued, I am breaking the laws of Athens. These laws raised me, educated me, and protected me. I made a contract with them. Now, just because I find their judgment unfair, should I betray them? Would that be just? Would I be a good man if I fled? Crito had no answer. Socrates had proven that to flee would be to destroy his entire life's work. To die was to be a victim of unjust men, but to flee would be to become an unjust man. On the final day, the jailer came in weeping. He called Socrates the noblest man he had ever known and apologized for having to bring the poison. Socrates calmed his weeping friends. Be brave, he urged them. He took the cup of hemlock. He made a small prayer and drank it down as if it were water. He walked around until his legs grew heavy, then lay down. The cold numbness crept from his feet, up his legs, toward his heart. Before the end, he uncovered his face one last time. Crito, he whispered, we owe a rooster to Asclepius. Please remember to pay the debt. A strange last word. Asclepius was the god of healing. Socrates was saying that death was not a disease, but a cure. A cure from the sickness of an unexamined life. His body was silenced, but his mind was set free. Socrates died not because he was a criminal, but because his questions were too powerful for a society built on comfortable lies. He died as his final lesson, that your integrity, your truth, and your mind are more valuable than your life. He died so that we, thousands of years later, would inherit the right to ask, why? He died so we could think.